Hey, beautiful people. It's Friday. The sun's out and it's Minnesota in October. And the Twins aren't playing baseball. Sorry, people. No October for you Twins fans, but we do have Gophers. We have Vikings. We thought the Lynx were, but we'll see. We're going to talk about all that coming up on today's show. I'm your host, Ron Johnson. This is Locked On Sports Minnesota, and this is the Friday Roundtable. Yes, it's Fat Waffle Friday here in my household. I want to thank everybody for joining us, the everydayers that continue to log in, like, share, comment, and download on YouTube, Amazon Fire, and Roku. We thank you guys, as well as the SiriusXM app. Again, this is the Friday Roundtable on Locked On Sports Minnesota. I'm Ron Johnson. We got Julia Daniels joining us from Care 11. We got Reggie Wilson joining us, and we got Sam Ekstrom. And when we come back, we're going to dive into these topics and get locked in on how you guys should put your money where your mouth is.
This is the Locked On Sports Minnesota Roundtable, your favorite podcast personalities along with Care 11 sports reporters weighing in on the hottest topics. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Well, on this show, we love to dive into the topics. We love to get petty every once in a while because there's some petty stuff we can talk about, people. Kirk Cousins, 509 yards. Mike Zimmer didn't say much about Kirk Cousins. We know why. The Cowboys are going to play the Falcons, and he didn't want to give them any fuel. But Aaron Jones, like, is he the unsung hero? Is it Sam Darnold? We'll talk about all that, but we got to get locked in on these topics. So, Julia, what you got for us?
Of course, the Vikings and the Jets are jumping the pond. We got to give our bold predictions for this Vikings-Jets game.
And the Lynx headed back to Connecticut. Well, they're already there. They're playing the Sun tonight in a pivotal Game 3. We're talking about it.
Twins have fired their hitting coach. Are there other big offseason moves they can make to solve what caused the collapse?
And Minnesota, yeah, Gophers, rah. We're going to hear a lot of that on Saturday night, 6:30 p.m. I will be there on the sideline. I might even do the postcast from the sideline if security doesn't kick me off the field. But we got to get locked in, and we got to get to the show. But I want everybody to know today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Just download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code Locked On for $20 off your first purchase. That's $20 off your first purchase. I want to say, if you're looking for a first purchase, the Gophers USC 6:30 p.m. It's a stripe out game. That means look at your ticket. It's going to tell you if you should wear maroon or gold. We got our tickets, so we know what color we're supposed to wear on Saturday night. Make sure you get yours. You can get them on the Game Time app. Again, that's $20 off your first purchase. Terms to apply. Just download the Game Time app today. All right, guys, are you ready? Are you ready? We're going to all together do this because what time is it?
Game time.
There we go. We got it. It's game time. Well, it's time to jump into the show. So, Julia, bold predictions, Vikings, Jets, take it away.
Okay. This is what I am calling the revenge game, right? We've got the great storyline of Kevin O'Connell from that Hard Knocks when they didn't even let him sit down to tell him that he got cut from the team.
It's like an episode of The Office.
Listen, we're sending you home. And he was like, okay. He handled it well, though. But I feel like that's something that obviously Kevin O'Connell's not going to broadcast the fact that it probably affected him in some kind of way, but it's probably also something that he's never forgotten, and that Twitter will never let him forget either. We also have to remember this is the team that Sam Darnold was drafted by. I'm thinking when somebody asked him about, like, if they failed him as a young quarterback, he gave a very politically correct answer and I'm grateful for this, blah, 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 whatever. I do think that his play on Sunday will speak for itself. I am calling this the Sam Darnold revenge game. He has been on fire. He's one of the front runners for MVP and comeback player of the year. He leads the league in touchdowns with 11. He's got the third best quarterback rating in the league. He's on fire right now. My bold prediction is that we've seen Sam Darnold do so well through these first 4 weeks. I think we've yet to see his best, and I think Sunday is when we'll see his best performance so far, and I think the Vikings have got this one over the Jets. But I also think this could potentially pose one of the bigger challenges for him, because I believe the Jets have one of the best pass defenses in the country. But I think what I'm calling my bold prediction is that this is the Sam Darnold revenge game. I think he's going to do really well on Sunday.
Revenge game for Samuel Darnold. I totally forgot, honestly, and I forgot about that angle. Like I was so caught up in Aaron Rodgers versus the Vikings, I forgot about Sam Darnold and the Jets. So Reggie, what's your bold prediction for this game?
So I watched some highlights of that Jets Broncos game on Sunday, and that was some bad football right there, baby. But I think one thing I saw is I just don't know about Aaron Rodgers and Nathaniel Hackett in that offense. Like, I could be wrong, but I just don't know. And a few weeks ago, Justin Jefferson was like, respectfully, I'm not Garrett Wilson. I'm sure Garrett Wilson wants to, kind of show like, hey, like Kevin Durant. I'm Kevin Durant. You know who I am. I'm Kevin Durant. I'm Garrett Wilson. You know who I am. I'm Garrett Wilson. But what was the joke? A Chrysler 300 looks like a Phantom until a Phantom pulls up. so when that Rolls Royce pulls up, it's like, oh, that Chrysler 300 does look like a 300. I'm interested to see how things pan out. We've seen some rumors going on that the Jets are in play for Devontae Adams, and it's just like, how many weapons does Aaron Rodgers need? Like, they got Mike Williams, they got Garrett Wilson, they got multiple tight ends, they got 2 legit running backs. Like, how much help does one offense need to get it going? And so with how this defense has been playing for the Vikings, I know they're probably a little chapped with how that second half of that Packers game went. My bold prediction is that Aaron Rodgers is going to throw the Vikings 3 interceptions on Sunday morning.
Wow. I love it. I have an Aaron Rodgers bold prediction as well, but it involves none other than 4th string defensive end Jihad Ward. Now, why am I going this direction? A little history lesson. Let's go back in time. Hard Knocks 2023. Jihad Ward is a giant. Aaron Rodgers, obviously, his first year with the Jets. Epic exchange captured on a hot mic during a preseason game.
That was Ward.
Jihad Ward hits Aaron, not even hits, more like shoves.
When it says, I don't even know you? Oh,
yep,
wow.
Yep, shoves Aaron Rodgers after the throw. Rodgers goes, that's bleep. I don't even know you. Jihad Ward tries to come back with some like, well, I don't know who you are either, which is kind of dumb because he's Aaron Rodgers. But war of words on the field. It continued in the media. Jihad Ward said, I was retaliating because the Jets were laughing at an injured teammate. And Aaron Rodgers fires back and says, that never happened. I think he's making bleep up. I don't care. So these two are not pals. Jihad Ward is now part of this Brian Flores defense where everybody gets involved. Everybody's blitzing. He's probably going to get 15, 20 snaps. I am boldly predicting 1.5 Jihad Ward sacks and 1 skirmish after one of the sacks because there's going to be some smack talk going on. I think Jihad Ward mixes it up with the Jets and Aaron Rodgers on Sunday in London.
So I don't really know if this is bold, but I got to do it. And so when you look at Aaron Rodgers, I always say this, fat cats get slaughtered. And I feel like I hope the Vikings continue to feel disrespected because when you feel like you're full and you're well fed, you get killed. And I hope this is because Aaron Rodgers trying to butter up Aaron Jones on the Pat McAfee show, and he's so great, and Aaron's such a hard worker, and blah blah. Like, I hope they continue to feel disrespected. I hope they continue to feel like, this is absolutely just nuts the way we've been treated. I think Aaron Jones. You look at the runners. Aaron Jones outrushes Breece Hall and Braylon Allen, and I think Sam Darnold outthrows Aaron Rodgers. We've talked about this for 4 weeks now. Sam Darnold has gone into every stadium, his own included, and absolutely made the other quarterback shrink. Nobody talked about the other quarterback from the 49ers game, from the Texans game. They talked about Jordan Love, but more so the fact that I can't believe Sam Darnold won that game. We knew Daniel Jones was not good. And now Aaron Rodgers is just another person on this list. My bold prediction is the running backs outduel their running backs, and our quarterback outdoes Aaron Rodgers. And then Aaron Rodgers jumps on the Pat McAfee show and praises Sam Darnold. Also, I heard the question was, Sam Darnold, like, did the Jets do you wrong, or did they, blah, blah. And he kind of said, no, I always felt like I could have done better. So I think that's a mature approach to this versus the hellfire and just, they never really trusted me, blah, blah. I wish I had this. I wish the coaches were better. He kind of took the grown man route and said, I always wish I could have played better. Like, I wish I could have done better. Now he's been unlocked. Kevin O'Connell has the key, clearly. And so I think this is just going to be another national stage game, 8:30 in the morning. I don't know who's up with lots and bagels. And for those that have ever seen Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan, gefilte fish. I don't know who's up eating it. I don't know who's having fish and chips. I don't know who's having crepes a la Ricky Bobby. Just say crepes and I won't break your arm. I don't know who's doing it, but I know everybody's going to be up watching and they're going to see a show from Sam Darnold. So that's my bold prediction is the world is going to now continue to talk about, man, how much do the Vikings have to pay Sam Darnold? Because do you really want to worry about J.J. McCarthy coming off a knee? Here's a quick one. Before we jump into this game time word from our sponsors, quick question for each of you, just 20 seconds. Quick twitch, because I know the fans saw this. Kirk Cousins threw for 509 yards last night, people. 4 touchdowns. That man was – and he's swag surfing now. Kirk Cousins is now an official swag surfer. He knows you don't swag surf until the beat drops. I don't know if you knew that, Sam. But you don't swag surf until the beat drops. Kirk knows that. Taylor Rooks from Amazon, I think she's with. I'm not sure what network she's with, but she interviewed Kirk and she gave him the ins and outs of the swag surf to prepare him for Thursday night football. And Kirk lived up to it. He's got to get the hips working a little bit better. His movements was a little like hip hop hooray, like that's what it felt like. Felt like Baby G with Keanu Reeves and Hardball. That's what it felt. It didn't really feel like, a true swag surf. But quick question for you guys. The way Kirk Cousins is playing, I'm not saying 160 million. If you can get Kirk for 20 million, so $100 million for 5 years, or Sam Darnold for 10, and then you don't know what the future holds, would you have done that with Kirk? Julia, I'll go to you first.
Wait, say that theory again.
So, because they gave him what was it, Sam? 160 or 180?
4 years, 160 in Atlanta, 160. and you're asking if he'd got
100 for 5 years, million. 20 a year. Okay. So double Sam Darnold's salary, 20 a year. Kirk Cousins gets a long-term $100 million guarantee, but you get him for 5 years. Would you have done, looking at Brian Flores' defense, would you have taken that? And you still drafted JJ, which means JJ can sit for 3-4 years and then be the Jordan Love. Or would you rather have it where it's at, Sam Darnold, and then we don't know what's going to be the future?
No, if I was a Vikings fan, having Justin Jefferson be the guy in the locker room has completely changed the vibes of this team, and I feel like the chemistry of this team. If Kirk was still like the guy leading this team, I don't think we'd see all of the personality and the way that the guys kind of get along with each other and the way that they move on and off the field. So no, I say you don't touch the Vikings right now. I say you leave them be.
Reggie.
Yeah, I think I go with Darnold. I was talking to our boy Ahmad about this, and I think Darnold's athleticism kind of brings a different dimension to the offense. Mm-hmm. Like if he goes through his reads quickly, as he's been doing with his feet and eye discipline so far this season, if it's not there, he's not making too many mistakes. Now, he's lived on the edge a little bit with some of the throws that he's made. He got picked off last week, questionable interception call. But I think when he looks around, goes through his reads, and he's able to take off with his legs and still get a first down, that's something that you did not see much from Kirk Cousins. And that's something that you see consistently through 4 games with Sam Darnold. I think you take that over what Kirk gives you after a torn Achilles all day, every day.
It's Kirktober. It's Kirktober, you guys. This is Kirk's month. 20 million is pretty good value to get for Kirk Cousins. You get most of the financial flexibility that you have with Darnold. And you know the future. Like that's kind of the kicker as well, is that after this year, we don't know what the future holds with McCarthy. And with Cousins, you would have an amazing contract at 20 million, maybe an unrealistic contract, but an amazing contract. And you would have sort of like a baseline expectation. And don't forget what he did before he got hurt. He was looking like one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. So I think I would actually lean with the Kirk side of it.
Also,
well,
Ron.
Yep.
Yesterday, we saw JJ McCarthy walking around in the locker room. No scooter, just walking, strutting, if you will.
Did he have the Aaron Rodgers walk? Like it looked like he needed like platform shoes, or did he have like the normal gait?
No, normal.
It was just regular. Yeah.
Talking to everybody.
Oh, okay. So we got 8 months left. Well, how many months has it been so far? 2 or 1?
One-ish.
Is meniscus recovery the same as ACL recovery? Like, is it actually
So
9?
Full repair. They said 6 to 8 months, and so
it's worse than ACL though.
Huh?
It's usually like meniscus is usually worse than ACL, right? Like you had to have a full repair.
No, the ACL is more important. The meniscus, you can just shave it and you're fine. The full repair, they're saying that it's such a small little piece of your knee. You just want to stay off of it. Like you don't want to do anything because it's fragile. It's the little, like I've seen it because I have mine scoped. It's the littlest, stupidest piece. And this is why God is so great. The littlest things in your body that he put in your body, like spleens. And I mean, just think about it. The stuff that we could have been made out of compared to animals. And so the meniscus is literally like this little thing that goes through your knee, hooks back. It can connect to the back. It's just dumb. And so it's so fragile that you don't want to be on it at all. So the fact that he's walking already and he's cleared means that he's a little bit ahead of schedule. Because when I read it, they were saying 2 to 3 months of no pressure on it. So that's why I asked Reggie. So if he's like at a month and a half, then he's ahead of schedule. But also he's younger. Technology's way better. This is the first full repair in a while. So I'm pretty sure technology's changed, surgery's changed. The amount of like because I saw a video of it and the amount of like opening. So like my knee had to be opened up a little bit. Now they can actually go in there with like 2 little things and they just like cameras do it. And it's like machines and cameras and the doctor runs it, but you don't have to fully open up a knee, which means you're getting other scar tissue. You're getting other muscles that have to heal first. They can kind of go in, move themselves through. It's amazing. Like I was bored. I actually watched them cut and peel an apple with 2 machines that do surgery. And so it's teaching dexterity by the surgeons. And they had to peel an apple without messing up the apple itself and just getting the skin off. It was amazing. I could not believe how crazy it is. And that's why I'm glad they go to school for 8 years. Cause I'm like, somebody talked about this the other day, and I love this joke. And this is before we get to the game time read real quick. People always say like with certain professions, oh, it's only a few bad apples. They'll be fine. He said, yeah, but think about some jobs that can't have some bad apples, like pilots. Like Delta can't come out and say, yeah, most of our pilots are good, but those few bad apples don't really like to land all the time. Like they like to crash. So it's just a few bad apples. Like you can't have, so like surgeons, that's one of the group. You can't have bad apples in surgery. Like you have to all be legit. So shout out to JJ McCarthy walking around the locker room. That's good to hear because that means he's ahead of schedule. So maybe 6 months, 7 months, we'll see him out on the tennis court, a la Kirk Cousins throwing balls. So we'll see. But coming back, we got to give you guys the FanDuel locks. We've been pretty good. We had some misses, but we've been pretty good as a group. Sam will read the stats coming back of where we are as our records. We welcome Reggie back as well. Because I know he missed the football party this week. And so Julia made some picks for him or for herself, not for him, for herself. But now we got the FanDuel locks coming up after a word from our sponsors.
We've also got a little Minnesota Twins breaking news on the other side of this break. But first, we are brought to you by Game Time, the Game Time picks function on the Game Time app just makes getting tickets so easy. Ron talked about going to the Gophers game tomorrow. I checked the get-in price, just $46 to see USC come to Minnesota and play at Huntington Bank Stadium. That is an awesome price on what's going to be an awesome night. Super Saturday weather-wise here in the Twin Cities. The curation of Game Time picks makes getting into sports, concerts, comedy, and theater unbelievably easy. Toggle on the all-in pricing and get the panoramic view from your seat so you know exactly where you're sitting. Your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. We lost Julia just for a second, internet issue, but the breaking news on the Twins that I teased, general manager and right-hand man of the team president, Thad Levine, is moving on.
Oh, fired or he walked on his own?
It seems like he's going to pursue other opportunities. Maybe he wants to be the guy in charge. He's kind of the number 2 here in Minnesota.
Falvey and Levine.
Falvey and Levine, no more. Levine is gone. Falvine is breaking up. Reggie, is this something or nothing? Reggie.
My bad. I think it's something. So here's the thing. They said that Falvey was not going to, be dismissed or anything like that, and neither was Rocco. And I think somebody had to fall on the sword. They announced all these dismissals earlier this week, with the hitting coaches you mentioned included in that. And now, it's like, oh, he's pursuing other opportunities. But also it's just like, well, if Falvey's not going to go, this season was a pretty big failure, all things considered, where we were a year ago today. But 8 seasons with the club, and he's like, oh, I'm gonna pursue new challenges and opportunities. It's like, oh, okay, like, sure.
Usually you don't jump from that job unless you have the next one lined up, which he doesn't appear to have. Exactly,
because it's like, what do you say? Both inside and outside of baseball. So it's just like, I really don't know yet, but I have a concept of a plan. So I'm not really sure what he's gonna do. But I think the problem is somebody had to fall on the sword, and maybe he got leaned on a little bit. Like, hey man, look, I know it ain't really your fault, but I ain't going nowhere. So Didn't
the Timberwolves lose Gupta? Like, do they need a right-hand man now? Maybe he'll join Tim Connolly across the
that could be a thing if he's into, what that has done with the Twins. Maybe.
Who knows? Julia's
when
back.
you look at what I was gonna say, when you look at the Twins, the only thing I say is where there's smoke, there's fire. Sometimes people do leave because they feel the pressure and they're like, I think you said it, Sam, I don't want to be tied to this. Like, you know what? Like, this is, everybody hates us. We had a 10-game lead, and August 11th, and then September, basically the month of September, we sucked. And I don't want to be tied to this. Like, I'm sick of being Falvey and Levine. I'm done. Like, you got this. I'm gonna move on. I'm gonna go somewhere else. Yeah, I could. The thing about GM, and I talked to Kwesi about this a long time ago. Sometimes about GM, he said, because he said I'm the general manager of people. He was like, I'm not so much building a football team. I'm building people, and I need to have the right people in order to build the team, which is, coaches, and then you got to have the scouting department and so on and so forth. So if he does have a great plan, which the Twins is not a great resume, but maybe he could say it's not my fault, then I'd say, yeah, you can move on to somebody like the Timberwolves and say, look, I'm really good at this, and this. I'm not going to be the guy to go sit in and watch a workout and tell you, yeah, you got to sign Malik Monk because he's out there on the open market. But I will be able to tell you, like, here's some people we need to have in place, and here's kind of what it needs to look like in the infrastructure and XYZ. So, but great to have Julia back. As we get Julia back, now it's time for the FanDuel Locks, the segment that everybody tunes in for because they like to win money. I like to win money. I don't know about you guys. So let's go. FanDuel locks. We're starting with you, Sam. What's your lock?
All right. Well, let me just give you the quick updated standings. Ron, you're 4-2. Some weeks you do 2, some weeks you do 1. You got Jefferson anytime TD last week. You got the hit there. I went really bold. I went Justin Jefferson 150 yards and missed that. Reggie, you were also pretty bold. Aaron Jones 2 touchdowns, missed that. And then Julia with a nice hit. Jordan Addison anytime TD in his return. So Julia's 2-1 overall. My lock in this one, I'm going to turn right back to Jordan Addison, take a page from Julia's book. I'm going to go Jordan Addison yardage, 36.5 over. That's a pretty low number. He's got kind of the blow the top off the defense ability where that could all be accomplished in one play. I know that New York has good cornerbacks. DJ Reed, Sauce Gardner, excellent corners. But I think they're going to devote a lot of attention to Justin Jefferson, and that's going to open things up for Jordan Addison. And that's just a pretty low threshold to exceed. So 36.5 yards for Jordan Addison. And if you want to juice that a little bit and take his alternate line, you could do 50 yards or more at plus 158, 60 yards or more at plus 240. I kind of like that 60 number at plus 240. So that would be my secondary lock on FanDuel.
Julia, what's your lock?
Should I go really bold here?
Yes.
I think you should.
Okay, we're going to go into the game specials tab. And we're going to go plus 550. Each team will score at least 1 rushing touchdown and 1 passing touchdown.
Okay, the specials.
Seems easy, doesn't it? It's like, just 1 rushing touchdown, 1 passing touchdown. It seems like it should be easier than that.
Say that to the parlay people that picked, what was that game with 2 really good running backs, the Eagles and the Falcons, Bijan Robinson and Saquon Barkley. And it didn't hit. Nope. Oh, Reggie, what you got?
Okay, I'm probably just going to go vanilla. I don't know. I tried to be bold last week. Didn't really work out. I'm going to go Justin Jefferson first touchdown plus 600.
Plus 600.
I like that.
He went off last time he was in London. It was 6 catches, 147 yards, and he did the gritty, but it was on a rushing touchdown. So I believe the passing touchdown belonged to Alexander Madison, having T in the end zone.
On like a crazy third down check down that had no business scoring, and he waltzed his way into the end zone.
Also, he's been balling this year for Vegas. I don't know if anybody's been paying attention, but he looks like a different dude.
Every afternoon, I read that he's got a touchdown.
So here's the funniest one. I kind of want to do this just because it's funny and weird. It says first quarter receiving yards, Johnny Munt over 0.5. So if he gets 1 yard receiving, it's plus 168. Like, can we get a Johnny Munt pass in the first quarter? The only reason I'm nervous is because this is, I think, Robert Tunyon's third game back, or is his second game back? I'm not sure which game back, but I know he traveled. I know he got activated. Again, elevated this week. The only thing I can think of, and I know Kevin O'Connell's not petty like Mike Tomlin. Like we know Mike Tomlin loves to be petty when players are going to play their old teams. And so, I could see, and I guess Johnny Munt, this is not his old team. Or, sorry, this is not his old, Robert Tonyan, but Aaron Rodgers is his old tight end. And so I wonder if he would try to do, a Robert Tonyan start to the game just to show Aaron Rodgers, look, he's still good. I kind of like this Johnny Munt thing, but I'm he doesn't really get targeted a lot. He does every once in a while, and it's just super weird. It's probably going to hit. Watch. I'm not going to bet on it, and it's going to hit. The first couple plays are going to be a Johnny Munt screen pass or something. But I'm going to go with an easy lock again. They keep throwing it out there. I'm going to keep riding this horse. Justin Jefferson, alternate receptions. Oh, no, I can't go there. I got to go yards. Where's the yards one? I was going to go receptions, but that's too high. Yards, alternate yards. I'm going to go Justin Jefferson plus 80. 80 plus yards for Justin Jefferson. That's 104. So plus 104 for 80 plus. The only reason I say that, and so I do have a stat to back it up. I've been deep diving the Jets defense, and their defense has been really good on third down, but on second down, they're vulnerable. So if you look at their third down defense, they have the most sacks in the NFL. On their second down defense, they have the least sacks, and they've been facing the same amount of plays. 43 passes on second down, 47 passes on third down. So similar play count is just they go after the quarterback on third down, and we know Kevin O'Connell likes to attack on second down. So that's why I feel like you're going to get – and they play vanilla coverages. That's going to be my breakdown this week on the pregame show. I'm doing the Jets defense on third and second down. Very vanilla on second down. And so I think that's going to be an opportunity for Kevin O'Connell to stay ahead of the sticks, attack with Justin Jefferson. He's going to have 80-plus yards. So there's our locks for the week. And now it's time to move on to the Minnesota. Hats off to thee, to thy colors, true we shall ever be, firm and strong, united are we. Rah, for Sky, you my rah, for the U of M. Julia, did you know that song before you came here?
Of course.
Okay. Thank you. So I'm not going to go into the whole thing. Next week, people, I need you guys to learn the rouser. Next week, we're going to get down to the end. We're going to do the MINNESOTA. We're not going to do the remix, though. I don't know if you guys heard the remix. There's a remix to this now in the locker room after they win. And so I think this week is going to be a week for the remix. But here's where I go quick with the Gophers USC game. Miller Moss, he's legit. He's a really good quarterback. You watched him dice up Michigan's defense. Michigan's defense is good, and Miller Moss finds some holes in there. He has a receiver, Jacoby. Kid's legit. He goes by Can't Guard Jack, so he's following the Can't Guard Mike era of Twitter, Instagram receivers. I don't know if that means like he's going to be really good in college, really good in the pros until he gets hurt, and then we're not going to see him anymore. I don't know what that means. But he's a really good receiver, and he's big, he's tall, he's 6'4". They have a 6'6" receiver. My thoughts for this game, going into this game, is the Gophers have to play sound defense the entire way through with this kid. You have to be able to use Ethan Robinson, who's a 6-foot cornerback. He was on the Ron Johnson show this week. You have to be able to use the safeties over the top. And Green, he's a freshman. He's a young guy. Then they have a freshman as well at safety. They have to play coverages that Miller Moss can't figure out. And I don't know what that looks like. I don't know how the Gophers can get to it, but I will say Heatherman, their new defensive coordinator, he's got the work cut out for him because these are some big, tall, strong receivers and tight ends, and they throw the ball. So I predict, because it's a Big Ten game, USC is not used to a team that's willing to run the ball. The Gophers haven't run the ball a lot. I think there's going to be a Darius Taylor week. He had 10 passes last week, which is like a record since like 1974, some crap. I think there's going to be a Darius Taylor day on the ground and in the air. So I got Minnesota over USC. Let's go to you, Reggie.
We got some mute.
My bad. Yeah, we got some technical difficulties here. Hey, so Ron, I got to give you some love. Okay, I'm gonna do that, and don't get used to it, buddy. But last week I thought the Gophers had no chance. And they played. Did you
say 52-10? Was that your guess? 52-10? That's ringing a bell.
Sam, why are we doing that? We don't.
I was right with you.
They kept their oars in the water.
Yeah, but no, interesting. It was so funny because we were driving to Green Bay, watching the game, mobile and listening on the radio, and I'm like, wait a minute, are they in this? Like, are the Gophers in this? And then that Daniel Jackson, oh my goodness. If that isn't a poster board for y'all better draft me, I don't know what is. Like, Daniel Jackson is a baller. He continues to show that. And the Gophers had a chance, man. I thought they got screwed. We won't, rehash that. But I thought they got screwed there at the end. I'm like, with what they've done to really make a game of it, like, come on, you can't call that during that time. Like, and it was a bad call to top all of that. So I think the issue is multiple, but of course, PJ in a loss saying he was proud of the team and all that, moral victories, they don't win football games. So but I think because of what we saw last week, I think I don't know. People who know me know that I am a USC Trojans football fan. I have been since the Leinart Reggie Bush days. So I'm excited to go to the game on Saturday and just I've never seen USC play in person, so that'll be fun to see. But I think, considering what we saw last week, not just from the Gophers, but from USC as well, playing against Wisconsin, like, I think the Gophers have a shot. But I still think the Trojans win. I'm not going to do score predictions because I embarrassed myself last week.
I want Ron's take on this. So if they lose this game, and I think there's a decent chance they do. I think they could. 8.5-point dogs. They could pull an upset. I'm not ruling that out. But if they lose this game, then you played 4 games that people really care about this year, and you've lost them all. You've lost to North Carolina, Iowa, Michigan, and USC. Is there any way to rope the fans back into this season if they fall to 0-3 in the Big Ten? And they don't have a lot of rivalry games coming up. They've got UCLA, Maryland, Illinois, Rutgers. I mean, there's the only chance you would have to get fans back engaged in this season is to run the table from this point on, and then you get Penn State and Wisconsin late. But this could be a game where people check out. Ron, do you think am I off base here that you kind of need to win this game if you want to keep your fans with you this season?
We're keeping the oars in the water. Row. So it is a game you kind of feel like you have to win. So when you look at the schedule, honestly, the North Carolina game should have been a win. That changes the season a little bit. Down the stretch, and this is the juggernaut. We knew this was coming. This is the juggernaut schedule, but UCLA. So UCLA was one of the juggernauts. It's not looking so bad anymore. Like, it is a night game, another freaking night game. I'm so annoyed. Like, I hate doing postcasts at 11 p.m. And I hate just being up late. Like, I'm old now. I'm one of those old curmudgeon-y people now that I hate night games. Like, I want to go to sleep at like 8:30, 9 o'clock so I can get up for the Vikings show and be nice and bushy-tailed and bright-eyed. No, I got to go to Starbucks or Caribou and get a coffee now in the morning. But yeah, Seb, so you look at Maryland, they're beatable, but they're good. Illinois is really good now. Rutgers is a revenge game for Ethan Caligmanis. I don't think I had Rutgers circled when we first got this schedule last year. Now you have to circle Rutgers because Ethan Caligmanis, I mean, Kirk Shiraka, Ethan Caligmanis, Kirk knows everything PJ wants to do. Like, that's a game. Penn State, that's a game. Like, it is a must win, Sam, because when you think about this right now, so Wisconsin, you don't know. Illinois, Penn State, like, that's the only 2 games, that they probably don't win. So 1, 2, 3, 4. You got to win Wisconsin. That's 4 there. So the only way to get 6 is you got to run the table with UCLA, Maryland, Rutgers, Wisconsin. So yeah, I think USC is kind of a must win because that gives you a little bit more breathing room. If you do lose that one, I'm not saying you lose the fans because 8 p.m. you go play UCLA on the road. You can win that one and then you can win Maryland. And then I think people are back in it. And then maybe you do upset Illinois. Like, that's the thing. Illinois is a beatable team as well. But yeah, this is kind of a must win. Like, it is. And in football, compared to basketball or baseball or hockey, every game is a must win. Like, it kind of is in college football, especially if you want to be competitive and if you want to keep your fans engaged. Every game kind of is. But yeah, this one for sure feels like, and here's the problem. It's a top 15 team. So it is what it is. They got a top 15 this week. They get a top 25 and then a top 10 in Penn State. So yeah, it's tough sledding, but we're going to keep our oars in the water, Sam.
All right.
Julia, what are your thoughts on this USC game?
I think if they want to win, they have to rely on their secondary for sure. More than anything. I mean, the Gophers defense has proven itself this year, except for that last half of the Iowa game. But I think
flashy thing.
USC passes a lot, and so their secondary has to try and take advantage of that. The question
Morse code, Ron? What do we?
No, Men in Black with Will Smith. I'm just making people forget about that. What she just said. That didn't happen. Iowa did not happen.
I do. The question of whether the Gophers fans will check out if they lose on Saturday, I don't think so. Number one, because it's a top, like you said, it's a top 15 matchup. They're an 8.5-point underdog. I don't think them losing this game is like, oh, how embarrassing, that kind of thing. Also, no offense, Gopher fans, but you guys don't check out for anything. You're fans all the time. You're loyal fans. You've been through the ringer with this team. So no, I don't think Gopher fans are going to check out if they lose on Saturday. I do think it's a crucial game, but Ron said this on Wednesday. The Big Ten is like one of the toughest conferences right now. They have their work cut out for them. Do I think it's a solid they're going to absolutely lose? No, just compared to the performance that they had last week. But it's going to be tough, and I'm not going to make any predictions about who's going to win this game on Saturday. We'll see.
And when you look at Miller Moss, and every time I look at the Big Ten stats, it always throws me off because I'm like, why is Dylan Gabriel in the Big Ten? And I'm like, oh, shoot, Oregon's in the Big Ten now. So it's just it changes the scope of the Big Ten because the Pac-12, they were, historically passing teams. And you got Miller Moss right now. He's only 64% completion, but he is almost at 1,200 yards. Now here's the crazy thing. 8 touchdowns. Half of them are to Jacoby Lane. Like 4 of them are to Jacoby Lane. So clearly he has a favorite target. So if I'm a defensive coordinator and I look at the quarterback having 8 touchdowns, 4 to 1 guy, I'm probably going to keep an eye on that guy at 6'4", 200 pounds. Like clearly he's a head topper. And Reggie, I too grew up a USC guy because of Keyshawn Johnson. I had the just give me the damn ball in my room in college. If people want to Google Tony Dungy, Ron Johnson, Keyshawn, the article will pop up. Tony Dungy blessed me my senior year when the Bucks came to play the Vikings. Tony invited me to the hotel. He got me sideline tickets to the game, and so I got to have lunch and dinner with Keyshawn Johnson because he knew that was my guy. And so I've loved that. So I got to meet Keyshawn again when I got drafted. He was our speaker at the symposium. Then Keyshawn came back to do a Vikings game. So he and I hung out on the sideline with Michael Blackston. I don't know why he was there, you mother sucker. But I loved USC growing up. I remember the USC Rose Bowl versus Northwestern. I think I was probably an 8th or 9th grader, but I'll never forget that. Keyshawn went absolutely off. And then, of course, goes on to the Jets to be the number 1 draft pick, so on and so forth. And you fast forward. So I've always loved USC. I wore number 3 because of Keyshawn Johnson, for those that didn't know that. Like Keyshawn Johnson had 3 at USC. So when I came to Minnesota, I was like, yeah, let me get that 3. And they're like, nah, you get 89. You're a freshman. I'm like, all right, I'll take 89. And then I balled out my freshman year, and they were like, all right, what number do you want? I was like, I want his number because he's not playing. And so I got 3 finally my sophomore year. That was the rules of Minnesota. You can't just come in and take numbers. You got to prove you deserve to have it. And so then I got to get number 3 my sophomore year because of Keyshawn Johnson. So always loved Keyshawn Johnson, USC. Nick Perry, a friend of mine, went to my high school, Martin Luther King High School. He went to USC in, I think, like 2007, 8, 9. Then he went on to the Packers to be drafted. So as well as then like Nick Perry, that was another reason why I watch USC football. That's my guy. So this is going to be fun. I'll be on the sideline. I'll be down there pregame. Hopefully I'll be down there in time because I got 6 people in town for my daughter's state softball game. So I'm hoping to get down there in time. But we got to move on. Looking forward to it again. Sam, I also have a plan for the Ron Johnson show. I think I might have a Hang on to Ron Johnson segment idea. And what I'm going to do, Sam, is probably because like on the sideline last time, I didn't think about it. I'm like, why didn't Rashad Bateman was down there. Tyler Johnson was down there. Chris Altman-Bell. I'm going to try to do some sideline interviews just pregame maybe or during the game quick with those guys. And then maybe just run that content. Like, hey, the Hang Around Johnson segment was special from the sidelines of the Gopher game. Boom, let's see what happened at the game. And then those guys, but I'll see. I know those guys always come. I'll be down there. So yeah, I'm super excited. And I tell people this, they're like, man, you played. Like I still get excited to be on the sideline of the football game. I don't care what you've done in sports. I don't care how, like I talked to Charles Woodson about this. It doesn't change. Like it's just a different energy. You're older now, but you're still excited to be down there and be in the action. I even told Daniel Jackson, I'm like, dude, if you catch a touchdown in the corner where I'm at, just come over to me. I'm gonna put the crown on him like he's LeBron James because he's taking over the crown as one of the top Gopher receivers. And he definitely had the catch of the year, Reggie. If he doesn't win an ESPY, I'm going to be pissed because there's no catch that should beat that one right now. I know there's some ones out there. I know there's some one-handers. But that one, Reggie, like difficulty, moment in the game, like if he doesn't win an ESPY for catch of the year, like it's super – unless like what Marvin Harrison Jr. catches it with one finger or something. Like I don't know what can beat that. Like it's
the Ryan Williams touchdown from last Saturday though might be.
Yeah, that's not a catch though. That's more of a touchdown. That's play of the year maybe. Like he didn't.
I don't know if catch of the year is a category. If it is, then
it is. It's catch of the year. It's okay. Like, or is it play? Is it play or catch? I thought it was catch.
Yeah, I thought it was play.
Because I thought they put like baseball and softball in that too. Because they did like the girl at the fence catching it over. I swear I thought it was catch of the year, but maybe it's play. Because Odell Beckham won one year. Was it play or was it catch? We got to look that up. I thought it was catch of the year. I thought that was an actual category for that speech. Or maybe it's just the NFL.
We'll put the research staff on it.
Put the research staff on that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ryan Williams.
Is that just you, Sam?
One-man operation.
Him and Luke Bryan. But Ryan Williams, those two plays were nuts. It was a video game for him. It was Tecmo Bowl, John Madden, college NCAA 20. Like it was nuts. Like he jumped, kind of caught it, stopped, stood still for a second, looked at both guys, and was like,
that was that dead leg. That dude has insane body control. Like
was
Alvin Kamara.
He killed his body. His whole body just stopped. Like, what y'all gonna do? All right, I'm going. And it took off. And like it was like, wait, what? This guy's 17? Like, come on. Like, what are we doing here? He needs to just go to the league. Like, they need to change that rule too. There's no reason for him to stay 2 more years to get hurt. But time to move on. We got to get quick before we get out of here. Time to move on. We got a quick word from our sponsors. We're gonna talk about the Lynx. We're gonna talk about the Tigers. I meant the Twins. Coming up next.
And we gave you our FanDuel locks earlier in the show, and there's a great deal right now at FanDuel if you want to take advantage and utilize some of our suggestions. Bet 5 for all new customers. Bet 5, get 200 in bonus bets. So you put $5 on the Justin Jefferson alt yards, Jordan Addison alt yards, Reggie's Justin Jefferson first touchdown score. Whether you hit it or not, you get $200 in bonus bets that you can spread all around the MLB playoffs, college football, WNBA semifinals, or, of course, NFL Sundays. That's a great deal at FanDuel.com. When you have a hunch, you can check out the lines, all the leagues, even the live lines in-game at FanDuel.com, America's #1 sportsbook.
All right, now it's time to move on to the Lynx. Take it away. Let's get to this quick. We got to go fast.
Yeah, real quick. Lynx play game 3 against the Connecticut Sun in Connecticut.
And how many games is it for this round?
5.
Okay.
Yeah, so game 3, this is pretty pivotal, especially considering the next game is in Connecticut as well. So Lynx got to handle business. Encouraging thing was Nafisa Collier only scored 9 points, and they were able to win in game 2 to tie the series up. And look, this series has been scrappy. Like Connecticut, I knew that was going to be a challenge for them, and it has proven to be that just because of their size and their grit and fortitude. Courtney Williams said, hey, it's playoff basketball. You know, ain't nobody fighting. It's just playoff basketball. And I'm looking forward to seeing how they respond in game 3, because I feel like whoever takes the advantage tonight will probably take the advantage in the series.
Julia, real quick on the Lynx.
Lynx are going to win tonight. They're going to win on Sunday, and then they're going to move on to the finals.
Sam?
I think it's going 5. I mean, the Lynx, the game 1 felt like the Western Conference Finals with the Wolves, just an ugly game at Target Center that they should have won and didn't. I think it goes 5, but I do think the Lynx win in 5.
I hope they win in 5, but I feel like if some sport has to die for another sport to live, Lynx can die so the Gophers can win. I'm sorry. I'm willing to sacrifice. Sorry. That's why I was like, the Twins losing, I think that helped the Gophers. I'm sorry, Twins. My Tigers are still going. I had to do it. Real quick, one last one. We got about 5 seconds, 10 seconds each. Is there any – I have no take on this. Is there a big move that we think the Twins need to make this offseason? Reggie?
Spend some more money. Spend some money. Get some people in here. Some more pitching, some more hitting. Spend the money.
Julia?
Yeah, empty the pockets.
They're not doing that, Sam.
If you have to shed some money, like get rid of the Christian Vasquez contract, do it. Go get Jack Flaherty. They won't, but they should go get Jack Flaherty. That's one of my favorite starting pitching options on the market.
Jeff Bezos, buy the Twins. That's my big move. I'm Ron Johnson. That's Sam Extra, Julia James, Reggie Wilson. This has been Locked On Sports Minnesota, the Friday Roundtable. People, make sure you subscribe on YouTube. We're almost there. Subscribe on YouTube and have a great weekend.